am Dan from the Sool Company, and this is
Julia
from the Sool Company.
This is why I usually introduce.
This is why you usually do this. So today we're here with another one of our by now famous tasting videos, and today we are drinking
Domundaejak. This brew has actually had a name change in recent times. It was originally called Getbangpung, which is quite difficult to pronounce.
Getbangpung.
Getbangpung. This is also a Korean language course.
It is indeed.
But is now called Domundaejak, which is also long, but this is one of our go-to brews.
Absolutely.
For something a little bit special. So, the Domundaejak is actually a very famous book.
So, as far as I remember, you just put that on me there.
I did.
This was written in the Joseon Dynasty, and it's kind of like the story of a guy's travels through the peninsula, and he basically just catalogued where he went and exactly what he ate. This brew comes from the east coast of Korea, in the north side, and the Gangwon-do region in a place called Gangneung. And in that area, this gentleman, he saw these kind of particular plants growing on the coast called the Getbangpung, which in English is, if we just remember, it's the American silvertop.
Beach silvertop or American silvertop. But, I mean, it's not something that we commonly eat in our lives, but this gentleman, when he wrote his book, he talked about all of the things that were the best things that he would eat in each region. Yeah. And when he had beach silvertop, he was like, oh my goodness, this is so good. This is amazing. So because this brew is from Gangneung, then that is why it grows out of the sand and the beach. And that's why they use that in the brew. So there's a little bit of infusion going on in here.
Absolutely. It's this brew, as far as I remember, we'll taste it and we'll see. But it's very verdant and green. There's this very plant-like kind of taste to it.
Yes, it's earthy, but it's very kind of root earthy. And an extra bonus, we're going up in alcohol percentage.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is higher. This is
10%?
Well done.
Indeed.
Yes, this is 10% alcohol. So it's a little bit stronger, and the carbonation is quite nice. So let's give it a go.
Sure. Be careful when you open this one.
I know.
Let's not.
It's happened to you before.
I'll just casually watch, not judge.
Just notice that I'm always opening.
So when you squeeze it like that, what are you actually doing?
Pushing the carbonation out, because as you can see, this bottle actually was moved around a lot. Because when you take it and you take out to go home, it's going to be in your bag, you're going to move it around. So all of that agitation produces a lot more CO2. So one way you can do that before you open is to push that CO2 out of the cap, because the caps are designed to let that CO2 escape.
Yeah. So the same reason that you can do that to let the CO2 out is also the same reason why if you buy makgeolli, you should never sit it sideways in the fridge unless you want everything underneath to be marinated with your brew.
Hands up who's done that before.
Yeah.
We learned the hard way in Sool Company.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Mademoiselle.
Nay.
Very funky aroma, actually. It's quite...
Very earthy. You know, I really like this brew because it's very much on the non-sweet spectrum. There's a lot of makgeollis out there that either use artificial sweeteners to make it more sweet, or they intentionally make a really sweet brew. This is very much on the opposite end of the scale. It's actually quite dry.
It's quite dry, but it's not overpoweringly so. And there's a nice bit of acidity, which kind of, it means it's not just kind of like a single dry profile. But there is a kind of like an earthy nuttiness that kind of comes out in the back end as well.
And kind of an astringency. It does make your mouth a little numb, which I like, actually.
The thing I like about this brew is, I think very rarely we would just drink this one on its own. This one goes really well with like a meal of some description.
Great food pairer. Really good food pairer. And you can get this much less frequently. It's not as easy to find as some of the other videos that we've done. You can get it at good makgeolli bars that really stock a lot of different kinds of brews, because another added bonus, this is aspartame free.
Indeed.
And that's kind of difficult to find. There's not a lot of brews out there that are doing no artificial sweeteners. It contains a sweetener. It is...
Yes. You know this one? It's, well, in Korean it's oligodang, which is, I looked it up. It is...
Not 5 seconds ago.
It's isomaltose, which is an oligosaccharide.
Look at that! Yeah, this is very easy to drink. I could drink a lot of this. And you have some extra time to drink it. The shelf life here is 30 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so be aware that it will change throughout that time. So if you've got no artificial sweeteners, the flavor does change as time progresses.
And certainly if you drink it towards the end of its shelf life, that dryness is going to be much more pronounced as the residual sugars in the brew get eaten by the live yeast. Because this is clearly with the carbonation stuff, is still a very live fermenting brew.
Very, very alive brew. It's alive. Also, one thing to note is price point. Some of the other videos we've done have been easy to find in convenience stores or in bars, and we talked about ilban makgeolli. Sometimes this is not put in the ilban or the regular category, but more of the premium category because of the higher alcohol percentage and because of the no artificial sweeteners. So expect to pay a bit more for something like this. Something depending in a range between 10 and 15,000.
That seems about right, yeah.
It can change, but yeah, just a little bit more expensive.
Alrighty, well, I think we should get to work finishing this bottle before we start planning the next video.
Dan says get to work. This is our work.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.